Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of She Plays Games. I'm your host Lauren, and before we get into this episode, I just want to share with you all something really cool I did last week. So I was invited to attend the Women in Games conference in London, which is basically a 2-day event for women in the games industry, or even just women who are curious about the games industry in general. They had panels featuring some of the industry's finest talents, like Roberta Luca from Bosses Studios, as well as discussion groups like one I went to about women who work at Rockstar. It was all really insightful and inspiring. The runner Mary Claire did such a fantastic job, as did Nerd Pirates, who hosted. I couldn't believe just how kind and eager everyone was. I really just felt accepted, and I felt so honored to have been a part of it. If you're considering a career in games, or you're in the industry already, I highly recommend checking out Women in Games. The event is annual, but they do host lunches around other events, like this year they held one at Develop in Brighton. Also be sure to check out other events abroad, like Women in Games France and Womanize in Germany. For more information, you should definitely check out their website, which is womeningames.org. And if you're on Facebook, you can join their Facebook group, which is Women in Games WIGJ. And then you can also check out their Twitter, which is at WIGJ. Anyways, today I have another very inspiring lady on my show. Her name is Leanne Bayley, and she is an artist currently working at Deep Silver. But before that, she was working with her husband on their own mobile title called Glyph Quest after they were both out of work right before the birth of their first child. It's just so inspiring, and I really loved talking to Leanne about her story, and I hope that you enjoy it too. So without further ado, here's episode 4 of She Plays Games. Hey Leanne, welcome to the show. It's such a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, we connected not too long after I heard your guest appearance on Keza McDonald's new podcast, Spawn Point. And your story just really resonated with me. I mean, I'm also a parent, and I appreciate the struggle of working with babies in tow.
Or attempting to work.
Yeah.
With small children around.
Oh my goodness. Having to have that like sort of tag out time where you're just like, all right, it's your turn.
Yeah.
Have like 5 minutes of Facebook or whatever you need to do to sort of center yourself and feel like you again, and then you get back into work.
I didn't even get that. It was literally just, no, I'm done. Hand the baby over, roll into bed.
Oh my
Sleep
goodness.
for 3 hours.
I know.
Get back out and do things.
But before we get into that line of thinking, we have to have a bit of a chat about the fact that you are a fan of Final Fantasy.
Yes.
So
a bit of a fan.
Yeah. I mean, Final Fantasy VII is the game that sort of inspired you to get into games, wasn't it?
It was the trigger point. I think it was the lightning bolt moment.
Yeah. Eureka. I found it.
Yeah. And that so between sort of like 95 and 2000 and everything that I gamed in that time was like, that's my golden era, I think.
Yeah.
And Final Fantasy VII was like spat in the middle of that. And that's just the point where I kind of like, I think it was the first game that I'd sat down and played like for 130 hours. And that was just one playthrough. Like, I definitely put that much time into Sonic the Hedgehog, but only because there was no save.
Yeah.
So like with this one, it was the first time I'd played through this story adventure for that many hours in one thing, with cutscenes and characters that I cared about, and like just this amazing world to explore. And that's when I was like, I want to do that.
Oh my gosh.
This is what I want to do. And then everything after that just like reaffirmed that. And then Final Fantasy VIII came out, and it was like, this is my calling.
I know. Are you ready for the remaster?
I don't think my body is ready.
I know. seeing Squall, and he actually has an attractive face, and
He actually has a face.
That scene will no longer have any sort of humorous stuff to it anymore.
No, they're gonna have to come up with a new meme.
I know. They should just distort his face just for that scene.
Just for that.
Yeah.
Just stick a smiley over it or something.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I'm very excited. Well, I'm very excited, but also a little bit worried because obviously it's up there on a little pedestal.
I know.
And I haven't played it again since. And
oh, really?
So I played it through like a lot.
Yeah.
At the time.
Yeah. That's a thing.
But
isn't
then
it?
this is the first remaster of it, so it's like, oh my goodness.
I know.
But is the nostalgia going to be? Am I looking at it through rose-tinted glasses, or will it still hold up, kind of thing? So I am very excited for it, but also a little tinge of anticipation.
Oh
like,
my gosh, completely.
Could this ruin? It's like when you go back and watch cartoons from the 80s. And you're like, oh, these were trash. These were like really bad, but I love them. Like your child brain fills in so much.
Oh my God, totally. Like there's so many films that I've gone back and watched, and I'm just like, that was absolute. Just what did I even watch? And like sort of Genesis games as well. Like, oh well, yours was Mega Drive, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like I was a huge fan of Bubsy when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Bubsy, like collecting freaking yarn balls. I didn't care about how hard it was or how annoying it was. I just played that game to death, and I still don't really find many people who were as enthralled with Bubsy as I was when I was a kid.
Yeah, I was like, so Alex Kidd
was
built into our Master System, and I still, to this day, I don't think I ever completed that game.
No.
But boy, did I play it a lot.
I know.
So that was great.
Ages ago, Daryl and I did a channel as well where we were playing through Sega Genesis games, and Alex Kidd, I just remember that being, that was hard.
Just remember it being so much fuller than it is, and you go back and play it again, it's like, there's nothing here. There's a row of blocks, and that's it. And it's like, these octopuses were much bigger and scarier when I was a child. I remember that.
Yeah.
So it's weird how you go back and it's suddenly a lot emptier.
I know.
So I'm kind of hoping that's not going to be the case with Final Fantasy VIII. It'll still be as amazing as it was, and I will still go around and draw all of the magic.
Yes. Go to that tiny island.
Never use it.
Yeah, go to that tiny island and run around in circles, drawing very powerful magic to make yourself OP.
Totally OP. Yeah. And not make the mistake I made with my first playthrough and make sure everyone is about leveled and not just three guys.
Yeah. Oh, I did the same thing. And let me tell you, freaking Ultimesio was hard.
Yes. Yes. Like, so then you just get someone that, like, I think Irvine was the character I never used, and he's like in the first lineup. Like, what is this? This is horrible.
Yeah. He just goes down.
He's like, done. It's like, just get rid of these guys real quick.
I know. Your life is over. Sorry. I'm so sorry, Irvine. But yeah, I mean, with Final Fantasy VII though, like what exactly was it that you felt most inspired by? Was it the story, or was it something else?
It was just like a lot. It was the world building, I think, more than anything else. I don't think anything else had really hooked me in, like really drawn me into the universe as much as Final Fantasy VII did. And like the character design was awesome. The monster design was great. Loved all of the summons. Really loved the mechanics for the materia. And all like the humor in it as well.
Yeah.
Like the funny moments. Like there's great tragedy, and then there's like this, like you're dressing up as a lady. I wonder if they're going to do that in the remake.
They are.
Oh, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Good scene.
Yeah.
Like, and then you got that bit, which is like just really weird and funny.
Yeah.
So it was just a lot. It was just like my tiny mind.
Did you know much about Final Fantasy before you played it?
Nothing about it. It was my stepdad, his colleague from work had got it and didn't want it. Like he got it with his PlayStation or something. And he was like, oh, you've got stepkids here. They might like this. Because it's quite cartoony. And I think he thought it was for kids.
Yeah.
So like
sadly mistaken.
So then like my stepdad gave it to me and my brother and sister. And he's like, oh, like friend at work got this and he didn't want it, so you guys can have it. And we're like, okay, cool. Stuck it in the PlayStation. The opening happens with the train and we're like, what is this? This is like, oh my God. And also that time, I think I was just really discovering anime as well. So I think from that 13-year-old me, that was the point where I started to really become in love with Japan and everything from Japan as well. So it was just like a lot. And it was like that time in my life as well, where I was very impressionable, obviously.
Yeah.
Totally. I've been thinking about it ever since, and it's not my favorite game of all time, but it's definitely the one that I remember finishing it and thinking, I want to do that. And it, like really clearly I can remember that. But I couldn't tell you for what exact moment it was in the game that made it. It was like after the final cutscene though.
It's just the whole experience, like just the whole thing together. And I think sometimes it is just that, isn't it? It's just that whole sort of amoeba, Milky Way goodness of a game.
Yeah. And it did just, I don't know, like and it helps, I think, that I played it with my younger brother and sister. And we would voice the characters.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Because it doesn't. And we would sit and we would like pass the pad and we would do different bits each. Although my brother less so, because he was like, he was a lot young. He's 5 years younger than me. So he kind of didn't get it, but he enjoyed watching it. He enjoyed watching us play it. So me and my sister would do a lot of pass the pad and playing it. And we did that for Final Fantasy VIII as well. And that was great fun. So it was just like a whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, do you think you might do the same with your daughter?
We do with Pokemon.
Oh.
So we got Let's Go Eevee on the Switch, and like, so she can't, like, she can read now, but she can't read it that well. So she'll ask me what it says, and I don't do as many voices.
No.
My Professor Oak voice is pretty bad. But we'll sit down and play it. And she likes running around and doing the battles. But she gets frustrated with the catching, with the throwing, like the controller. So she gets me to catch the Pokemon, and then she does the battles.
Aww. So, like, with Final Fantasy, have you kept up much with the series since then? Because obviously you're picking up the remaster of 8, but have you played a lot of the games after? So
the only one I haven't played is Lightning Returns, and I didn't complete 15 because I've got 2 kids now.
Yeah, I know.
Don't have time to play video games, and it just didn't gel with me straight away, and I didn't have the time to put into it to get to the point where, like, it clicks, I think. Yeah, I completely understand. I mean, nowadays with games, it is sadly a game of just, this is good, this gels with me, I can play through this, or I'm not feeling this, it has to go. Like, there's not that sort of waiting period where you're just like, all right, this is going to get good at some point. Just because I'm like told that it gets good, and you just got to like get through that prologue bit. You just got to play the game for like 80 hours. Yeah, you just got to play it for, I think I was quoted 20 hours. I was like, I don't have the time. I know. Where am I going to fish 20 hours from? I know. But to be like, if it was out now on the Switch, for example, that might be different, because I've got a lot more time to just, sit in the corner and play that when there's a quiet moment, or if they're occupied with something, I can do that. That was the only one that I've started and not finished. Yeah, but definitely. The rest of them I've done, or had a go at. Yeah. Played again. I played the remakes of 10, 10-2. Oh, I love it so much. I completely forgot that they did the remake of the Zodiac edition. Oh, yeah. 12. So I'm eyeing that up, because I wanted to play the different license board systems since they announced it for Japan, and I was like, why is it only in Japan? I know. Now they brought it over. I know. It's like, it's just so crazy that they chose to do that. Like, I can't think of another game where they've sort of completely changed the gameplay for the better, but then just released it in one region and didn't let us have a go at it. I know. I can't. But, I didn't finish what was it called? It was like Revenant Wings or something. Yeah, it was the DS Final Fantasy 12 like little spin-off. I started that, and it really annoyed me how you'd have stuff going on in the bottom screen and there'd be cutscene happening on the top screen. It's like, I can't do both. Why are you asking me to do both? I know. So I didn't finish that one either.
Yeah. I forgive you for that.
Thank you. I feel like I needed it.
Yes, I accept you. But yeah, so like you're full of inspiration from playing these games, and then you ended up studying 3D animation and visualization at Bournemouth University.
Yes.
Did you find that doing that was sort of a helpful step in getting you on your way into the games industry?
Yeah, it totally was. If you'd asked me that as I just finished my degree, I would be like, I've just wasted all this time and money, and I hate everything.
I'm just in debt.
I'm just in debt now. But no, it was very much it's difficult because the course itself was, although when they advertised it, they were like, oh, and then our graduates go off to work in VFX or animated movies or video games. And I was like, yes, covering my bases. But when you were on the course, or at least when I was on the course, it was very geared towards special effects and, animated films, not games. So at the end of it, I was starting to feel quite, dispirited, maybe. Like I just wasted a lot of time and money, and I should have done something else that would have launched me into games.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just very down at the end of it, I think. So, but having gotten a job in the games industry, because the course covered so much, and it did everything from like traditional 2D drawing to, C++ programming. What it did was give me an amazing background to be able to talk to every department in the studio, because like it gave me the language, it gave me the vocabulary to be able to go over to the programmers and talk to them about what was holding them up, or be their soundboard for when they wanted to try and talk out problems and that kind of thing. So it really helped give me an understanding, because from what I got from the course, the VFX industry and the games industry wasn't that different, like the way the departments work. Obviously, there's a lot of detail in that, but being able to communicate across those disciplines, really, was the strength of doing that degree.
Yeah, like it is interesting though that you say that, like sometimes people get completely different experiences depending on like sort of what the staff is. Like,
yeah,
you almost sort of feel like, yeah, you're not going to get the same exact degree as someone else. Like, that must have been really weird at that time for you.
Yeah, I mean, a bunch of people who graduated at the same time as me did go straight into the games industry.
Okay.
I think it was more me holding myself back.
Yeah.
But they went in as TDs. They went in as tech artists. So, and that's like, that felt like very much like what we were being geared up to be. And that wasn't what I wanted to do. Yeah. And then I went through this whole like, but what do I want to do?
Finding yourself montage.
Yeah, exactly. There was a bit of it was a very boring montage because all I did was work at game the whole time. But there was...
it's okay. We all got to do what we got to do. Our montage just, sometimes it lasts, 15 minutes. Sometimes it lasts 4 years, 5 years. It took me like 4 years before I was just like, oh my God, wait, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah. Then you sit down and have kids and you're like, oh my God, what am I doing with my life?
I know. Like, wow, I just like, I had so much time. I had so much promise. And then now I have only 3 hours. I
wasted it.
Yeah.
Wasted it all.
I know. Yeah. But no, kids are fun. And I think like the priorities, like the prioritizing of kids, of the time that you actually do have, I feel so much more productive now than I did before. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, the amount of work I can get done in an hour now compared to before.
Yeah, you just feel like, oh my God, wait, I actually have to plan out like, well, I don't even plan out. I just have a sort of internal list of I have to get all of these done, all of these things done. I have about 45 minutes to do it.
Yeah.
I just gotta blitz. I just gotta blitz everything right now.
Gotta triage, and then I gotta blitz it.
Yeah.
And that's like, because before when there was like so where there was like little responsibility, all the time in the world, not a care kind of thing. Nothing ever got done.
No.
And now I don't have any of that time. It's like, I kind of want to do this. Well, I'm going to have to see where it fits in my list of priorities, and how quickly can I work through some of these other points so I can get to that point kind of thing.
Exactly. But yeah, so after you completed your degree, what was sort of your process getting into your first job in the industry?
It was do nothing, doubt myself in every possible capacity, cry in the corner a lot. No, like I say, there was a huge like montage period where I just didn't.
Yeah.
And then a then boyfriend of mine was like, oh, there's this games festival up at Teesside University. It's like animated film and video games. We should go and see what it's about, because they do networking, so you can talk to some of the pros. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that sounds like a good idea. Let's do that. So we went, and it turned out that was my process. It was going to a conference at a university and speaking to people in the industry and getting, portfolio critiques from people in the industry and making contacts and connections and keeping in touch with those people. And then what actually happened was, after a while of still not exactly putting myself out there, not putting myself forward, still feeling like huge imposter syndrome, that I couldn't do this.
Yeah.
One of those contacts from that festival was Alex Trowers. That name will come around again. And he had to leave a job like instantly, which was he was the game designer at Remode. And he really like dropped them in it. He'd like quit on the day and left, didn't work his notice or anything.
Wow.
But what he said was, you need to contact this person. She can absolutely do my job. And it just so happened that at the same time that he quit, Game had gone into administration and I had been made redundant.
Oh my gosh.
Because they closed my store.
Yeah.
So it was like that happened at the same time. So he was like, are you looking for a job then? And I was like, yes, I am. He's like, okay, hang on. So he put me in contact with the studio manager and was like, look, you need to talk to her, get her in. She's brilliant. She'll do the job. And that was the first time someone had like advocated for me.
Yeah.
And like really bigged me up.
Yeah.
Of only a couple of interactions where we talked about game design. I had no experience in game design. I had never written a GDD, but I knew what I was talking about. And I was very passionate about it. So I went to the interview, was able to show that I had different skills in communicating, written communication. I could also draw. I could draw storyboards. I could do animatics. And I could speak like programming. Not very good at programming, but I knew the words.
Yeah.
And so they took a big risk on me. And that's how I ended up working at Remode.
Wow. That's incredible, though.
So yeah, network, that's the key.
Yeah, I do hear it like time and time again through these podcasts, especially, that like networking is just such a big thing, such a big part of it. Like I have people who went to Women in Games, those kind of events as well. And
I think it's just because it's so much easier these days, especially to get your work in the void. You know, you can have your Instagram or your Twitter or your, even DeviantArt. That's still a thing.
Oh yeah, it totally
or
is.
ArtStation, right? So you can have your work out there, but there's no guarantee that the people who need to see it are seeing it. But if you go to these events and you actually put it in their hands, or you show it them there and then, or you talk to them, you build up a rapport, and you share details, and they go and find you afterwards. That's what's important. That's the human touch, because I keep saying this over and over again at different events. It's people make video games. So when you want to get a job, you need to show that you're a human, right? That can work in a team and get along with people. And it doesn't necessarily, it's like 50% having the skills to do the job, 50% being able to work in that team to do it.
Yeah, 100%. And it's also interesting, actually, that you mentioned imposter syndrome, because I do think that that's something that, like, I've only just been made aware of it, like, recently, like a few weeks ago recently. And it is so scary how much I think I mean, I don't want to generalize and say like a lot of women probably do share that feeling of I'm not meant to do this. But like, I do feel like it is a problem sort of within our community that we're all kind of coping with, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I hear about it a lot, especially with artists.
Yeah.
Especially with female artists. So, yeah. And I still have it. Like, there's been times where I wouldn't apply for a job because I would look at the job description and I would look at what they're asking for. I'm like, oh, I don't have that. I don't have any of that in my portfolio. Yeah. And then Alex is here like, yeah, but you can absolutely do that work. It doesn't matter that you don't have it to show. You should still apply. And then it's like, there are people out there who have got way more confidence in themselves with way less ability to do it that are applying for those jobs. So just apply. And that is actually how I ended up in the job that I am now. Because I didn't think I had the work to support it, but you know, he was there on my back, like, just apply.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Just do it.
And I did, and then got the job.
Yeah. But yeah, that's just the thing. It's just you just talk yourself out of it. Like so many. It's I know that it's bad that this is the first thing that I think of. But I've been rewatching The Office recently, and there's a scene where Michael Scott has written up on the board, you miss like 100% of the shots you don't make. And then he has the actual person who said the quote, I think. I forget that person's name, but then underneath he said by Michael Scott. And like, as funny as that is, like the fact that he's quoting somebody else, but he's saying that it's his own quote, whatever. But that quote is still so true.
Yeah.
You just,
totally.
There's no point in just not trying. Like, just go for it. Like, if somebody says no, that's still fine. You still tried.
Exactly. And I think this is a bit of a root of the imposter syndrome as well, because if you get every job you apply for, if you get every gig that you put your portfolio forward for, you are very lucky and very much in the minority. Generally speaking, you're going to get way more rejections than acceptances. And it starts to like slowly chip away at your confidence, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why it's good to have your tribe, have your people around you, or every time that rejection letter comes through, they're going, yeah, but you're still great. Like, it's not that you can't do it. It's that it's not right for those guys right now. Come on, you've got to keep going, got to keep trying.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just that right place, right time. It's going to happen.
Exactly. So you have to put the imposter syndrome in a box and throw it in the sea.
Yeah. Lock it with very strong locks.
Very strong locks. Which is very rich coming from me, because I still...
Oh, yeah.
Every now and again, I'll be just like, no... And then I've got people yelling at me like, but you literally did that. It's like, yeah.
I know, but still.
Was it that good? Yes. Okay.
I know. I trust you, maybe. But
hopefully I'll never go the other way.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm great.
I know. It's that fine line. It's that fine line of humbleness where you're just kind of like, I got to stay on there. But so... When you went on maternity, were you intending on going back to remote afterwards, or did your like idea of sort of self-publishing mobile titles with your husband just end up being a product of the situation that you guys found yourselves in?
It's a funny story. I was never on maternity leave from remote. I'd actually... because me and my partner I was in Plymouth and he was in Brighton.
Yeah.
And I had handed in my notice at Remode because I was moving to Brighton. So I'd handed in, I was working a 3-month notice, and then I found out I was pregnant. So, and lo and behold, nobody hires pregnant ladies.
I know.
So I moved to Brighton, jobless and unemployable. And then Alex got fired. Not immediately. There's a few months in between. He got let go of. It was sort of an amicable thing. He was not the right fit for what they needed. So he was let go of. And then we were both like, no job, baby arriving in 4 months' time. That's when we decided, let's make our own game.
Yeah.
Stupid. So dumb. Oh. No. But it worked out.
Yeah.
We struck it lucky with our first mobile title, and that's what fueled doing the next few mobile titles.
Yeah, I mean,
because it was working out.
That's just the thing. You just gotta try. It's again that whole trying thing, but just like, yeah, you gotta feed yourselves. You gotta find a way.
Yeah. So it would have been way more sensible for, like, at that time, for Alex to have like gone into another job straight away, because I was way pregnant. Like, no one's hiring me.
Yeah.
For a while. So like, it would have had to have been him at the time.
Yeah.
But we crunched the numbers, sort of, and we figured we had an amount of time, and if we had one shot basically. If it worked, then we could keep doing it. If it didn't, then we had to turn something else around real quick. So you know what they say about putting all your eggs in one basket?
Yeah.
We totally did that.
Yeah.
Don't recommend it.
But at least now you're on the other side of it.
We are. I mean, we did. It was the roller coaster. We had the ups and the downs, and the eventual crash and burn. It wasn't a good roller coaster.
Yeah.
But and then we're only now at a point where we've both got work lined up. Well, I've got a full-time job and he's got contracts lined up. So and that's like 6 years. So we've had the rough with the smooth, and now, forgoing the joys of indie lifedom for regular paychecks.
You sold out.
Sold out, man. Sold out. Got 2 kids to feed, and I sold out.
No, dang. But
Dang it.
I mean, who to sell out better than freaking Deep Silver, especially at this current time?
Yeah, so that's great. There's like a handful of studios up here in Nottingham. So Deep Silver Dam Busters is one of them, and they were foolish enough to hire me.
Yeah, as a senior 2D artist, nonetheless.
Did that. Yeah.
Do you find that, like, how is the transition going into that from mobile titles?
Well, I've hit the ground running because I've like joined it mid-project. Ooh. So it's been kind of, there hasn't been like a slow ramp up to it. It's been like, here's your asset, let's go. It's like, okay.
Okay.
So, and it's fine. Like, I mean, I did some PC titles as well.
Sure.
Which were like just super casual things. In my interview, actually, the art director was like, so, how do you feel about, making the UI assets for, different platforms? Like, you got PC, and then you got PlayStation, you got Xbox. Like, is that going to be a problem? I was like, mate, have you seen mobile devices? Do you know how many different formats there are to have to make UI for? It's like, you're saying that I've got to do it for 3? I can do that. 3 I can do. Like, throw some more in there, it's fine. I can go up to maybe 20, and then I start losing my mind. So, and I think I went a little bit mad in the interview at that point, because he was very shocked, and I don't think he'd never made a mobile title. So he was like, okay, there's clearly more to this than I realized. So it's been, I've actually had to slow down. I've had to mellow back. I've had to chill out a lot, because now I've gone from being everything: designer, artist, marketer, business developer, community manager, to just artist. Yeah. And it's great.
Yeah.
Just have one job. Well, it's 2, but it's one job.
I think that's such a good way to go, though. Like, because, obviously it goes back to that being like a well-rounded student almost. Just the fact that you've had the experience, and respect what each of the cogs do.
Yeah.
Like, you might not be the best at all of those different cogs, but you can respect how much work goes into those bits when, like, you sort of consider those other experts who are in those roles.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, this is a great opportunity, because I get to focus on one role of specializing for the first time in a thing. Because even at Remote, they hired me as a designer and then very quickly promoted me to a creative producer, because I had like 7 years of management skills under my belt at that point, working in retail. And management is management. It's people the whole time. So they were like, oh no, we need you to help with this as well. So then I was like dual tasking, you know, I was doing game design and pitch design and doing all the like the project management and tracking and stuff. And then I did indie and I did just everything. And now I've got this just one track to follow. So it's the valve of T-shape, isn't it? It's like knowledge of everything, expert in one sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'm making a T-shape with my hands that you can't see.
I know. I've been using hand motions like this whole time. And I just, if Daryl saw me from behind right now, I'd just be like this weird sort of Gumby creature.
It's fine. It's enthusiasm. We like it.
It is. It helps you think, I think. Maybe. I think it helps me come up with the words. Like I'm just reaching for words.
Yep.
And visualization. It's being visual, isn't it?
It's when you can't find a word and you start like rolling your hands over them. Over and over, and then and then you find it. It's like, I'm rummaging. I'm going to find it. It's in
I know. Oh my God. I have that like all the time with sort of, I know it's baby brain, but like, words are not my strongest suit at the moment.
Yep.
How did you find that sort of coming out of like having kids and going back into work? Like, did you find the transition to be like, I mean, obviously you worked at home with the mobile titles that you were making, but when you went back into an office,
it's been a long time.
Yeah.
It's been like 6 years since I worked. Well, just over 6 years since I worked a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So I'm still adjusting to it, but if anything, it's easier because it's like I'm removed from the house. The kids are at nursery or school or whatever. I can just actually focus and get on and talk to other adult humans.
I'm so jealous.
It's great.
I crave it.
Like I missed it so much. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I try not to I have to rein myself back and just be like, no, it's just going to talk for 5 minutes at the tea break. It's fine. I don't need to know my life story.
I know, but you just have been confined for so long, and it's almost like something that you can recommend. Like, guys, if you want to appreciate things in life, have kids and then go into an office and then feel the way it feels to just have a cup of coffee or cup of tea.
A hot cup of coffee.
Yes.
Start to finish hot.
Yes. The snacks that you are responsible for are only your own.
And then you get to eat them all as well. You don't have to share.
No, it's so nice.
So nice. And you can go to the toilet on your own.
Oh my God. And there's toilet paper as well most of the time.
I mean, it's such a overrated thing, I feel. Like people just don't realize.
No, you just see these moms walking into the workplaces being like, this is heaven. It's
so far so good. That's what I'll say about it, because I'm still quite green there.
Yeah.
But it's spending all day away from the kids. When I'm there and I'm working and there's a lot on, so it's busy, and that's great.
Yeah.
Don't think about it, just get in the zone. Like Spotify is on and focused. Yeah. And then I'll pick up the little one from nursery and he'll just run at me crying. And then that's when I'm like, oh, I missed you as well. And she's like,
I know.
Have an unnecessarily long hug, but it is necessary.
It is so necessary.
Yeah. So it's literally just a drop off and pick up is the points where I hurt as a parent. But when I'm at work, at the moment, it's all, getting in the zone.
AutoZone. Oh, yes. Sorry. There's an advert, and I just like knee-jerk reaction to zone. Get in the zone. AutoZone. I don't know why. It just happens.
Just happens. This is why you need to talk to more adults.
I know. I'm starting to speak in jingles. Like, what is happening to me? I remember I had a friend over recently, and I had so many songs for various words that I would sing with Allie. And he just looked at me and he was just like, do you have a song for every word in the English language? And I was just like, well, maybe I have a song for certain situations. And then I started going through it and I was like, oh my God, I literally have a song for so much. What's happened?
Just like everything.
I know.
No, it's. I have to stop like quoting or doing like kids' TV intros and songs from things or Disney. Everything is Disney.
But they're so freaking catchy.
Yeah.
Like Paw Patrol is. I don't know if you're. Is Paw Patrol a big thing in your house?
Do you know what? It's not. She likes it, but it's not like the be all and end all. We don't have all the toys, for example. But I have questions about that show. Like, how is it funded?
Yeah.
Who is making all of the equipment? Why is it only those dogs can talk?
Why is it the girl dog is the only one that doesn't have any special powers?
Why is she the girl dog?
Yeah.
Like, she has a personality.
She does.
That's why I'm so happy they introduced Everest, but they need to... See, I was wondering at what point this would go off onto a mad kids' TV tangent.
I know. Oh, video games. But yeah, I mean, so aside from that, like at the moment, or even when you first started, were there particular artists that you were inspired by as well? Like, are there particular people who you've sort of been, that you've just been inspired by in the industry?
Oh, there's like loads. There's loads and loads. And it's, I tend to get into like a project because obviously video games are not made by one person and the art's generally a whole bunch of people, but there are a couple of standouts there. But like, oh my God, like Ooblets, for example. It's just the most adorable thing ever. And I'm going to lap that right up. And I love all of the art that comes out of that. But like when I was at uni, and actually still now, I'll still reference them. So the Designers Republic, who did all of the graphic design for the Wipeout games, or like the original Wipeout games. Oh man, I love that stuff. It was so good, so crisp. It was like the future. It was great.
We're all going to be in those like really cool cars.
Yes.
Zooming around.
And everything's going to have these amazing logos and icons, and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And Cold Storage will be the soundtrack to everything.
Yes.
Love that game. And obviously like the Final Fantasy games. So Yoshitaka Amano and Tetsuya Nomura, like those guys were just like, I lapped absolutely everything up of those. I mean, like I said before, like at that time I was really in an anime place, and Cardcaptor Sakura was my absolute favorite.
Oh, I loved that one. Oh my gosh.
And anything Ghibli.
Yeah.
And I was into, I'd seen Spirited, what's it called? Laputa, way before. And like when I was like a little kid, had no idea what it was. And then Totoro was on, and I just was having mad flashbacks to when I was even smaller and saw Laputa. And then after that, suddenly every character had big eyes.
Yeah. Kind
of thing. So there's just loads. There's loads and loads. Lois van Baal. She is I love the way that she lights absolutely everything and the colors that she uses. So she did the concept art for what's it called? The game with the robot dinosaurs.
Oh,
Horizon.
Yeah.
So she did some of the character art for that, I believe.
Yeah, those are gorgeous.
But all of her illustrations are just amazing. We could talk about this. There's loads. Darkest Dungeon. So I love Darkest Dungeon. It's a very hard game to love, but I love it. But also Trudy Castle's like her cute little characters that she's always putting up on Twitter. Love all of those guys. And I recently found a French artist called Cedric Babouche who does watercolor art, but then puts it in 3D.
Oh my God.
It's just the most beautiful stuff. He's done some watercolor animations as well, and the stuff that he's working on for this game, every time he puts a new thing on Instagram, I'm all over it. It's just like it could drool over it. It's beautiful.
I freaking love water. Oh, I'll have to look that up because I mean, I've just always I've always loved watercolor, just as a medium in general, because I've always thought it's freaking gorgeous when it's just, I can never make it look like that, but I can respect somebody who can do a good watercolor. But I love those tattoos.
Yeah.
The watercolor tattoos. Oh, That would be my dream to get one of those.
And then I recently stumbled upon a graphic novel called Nightlights.
Okay.
It is by, I'm totally forgotten her name, Lorena Alvarez. She says reading it off the cover. And that, oh my goodness, there's some art in that which just blew me away. I was like, this is amazing. This is gorgeous. So there's a lot of cute stuff that I like.
Yeah.
Obviously,
do you find that like Instagram and Twitter, obviously, like social media in general, sort of brings together a lot of people who, a lot of like, what's the word I'm looking for? It sort of bridges the gap between all of us, doesn't it? Like you can just sort of, you can find so much more information, so many different styles and so many more interpretations of what things should be. Well, I found a load of people from Inktober. Oh, yeah.
So every year when Inktober rolls around, and I just I use TweetDeck a lot, and I will have a tab open, which is just the hashtag Inktober, to see everyone's stuff. And I've followed so many more people, so many more artists from like seeing what they've come up with.
Yeah.
For that month, and like, yeah.
It's like Christmas. It's like art Christmas.
It's like art Christmas.
Yeah.
It's like art Christmas and art Halloween all at once.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Because a lot of it tends to be spoopy.
Oh, I'm getting all the Halloween feels now because Tim Burton's just announced that they're having like an opening in New York or something for his like art thing, and I'm just like, oh, I need to go see his gallery.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways. But Leanne, it's been absolutely amazing speaking with you about your experience and learning from your experiences within the video games industry thus far. Thank you so much. Thank you so much again.
I mean, I hope there was anything useful in there and not just mad rambling about Paw Patrol and Final Fantasy.
No. That was like 5 seconds, honestly.
Like none, like tiny section.
Yeah. I think we did well. As moms, I think we should be proud, and I think we should get little gold stars that are chocolate, and
and then we get to eat ourselves.
Yes.
All by ourselves.
Yes, 100%. Well, that's it for this episode of She Plays Games. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope that you enjoyed hearing Leanne's story. I can't wait to hear more from her soon, and definitely be sure to check out her Twitter at _IKOUYO. Also, if you want to follow me, the official She Plays Games Twitter is at ShePlaysPodcast. Also, if you have any requests for our future guests or want to be on the show yourself, you can email me at ShePlaysPodcast@gmail.com. Thank you so much again for listening, and I hope to see you next time on She Plays Games.